Hi, JJ here with the Art of Value. Today I want to look at the rumor, the news, definitely the rumor on FinTwit and financial media that Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway is exiting, could be exiting its position in BYD, which stands for Build Your Dreams, Chinese the EV car maker and ICE car maker still, and battery maker. So let's have a look at what's happening. I'm going to be looking at some of this for the first time, so we'll look at it together. So let's just first play this video from bit of Yahoo News. What are they saying?
Here's now over to BYD. Apparently, that company moving on speculation that Warren Buffett might be exiting his stake in that company. We're seeing shares down almost 12%. What's the story there?
Yeah, watching shares there in Hong Kong. Very interesting story to watch here. First report by Bloomberg and FT that a huge block sale been recorded in the system that records the kind of clearinghouse shares down in Hong Kong. Speculation that it's Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway stake, around 20% of shares. This is a huge block there. So it's kind of spooking investors down there. Is he really going to exit? There's no indication that he wanted to. He famously bought into this company in like '09 and made a ton of money with that trade. So there's no indication that he wants to sell, but just the fact that a huge sell order kind of in the books, they think it might be him. We'll see. Things are definitely changing there. BYD is the number one EV maker in China. So it's still like a trade I think that he would probably want to be a part of, but we're just sort of waiting to hear more, any disclosures perhaps on what's going on there exactly.
Yeah, they've got a huge factory out in California, right? I mean, Warren Buffett is, they have used the Buffett name at least to really expand their business in the U.S.
And then, as you know, in Asia, Buffett is like a god. So just the fact that he's at that imprimatur of him being there is like a big deal for that company too.
So interesting.
It literally makes
actual,
my body feel younger.
So no actual news there. Just a rumor that might be a huge block of shares that a Berkshire size block of shares are being sold. And so what could it be? Who could it be? And is it true? Let's look at if you look at the share price here if you're on video on YouTube or Spotify video, you'll see a graph on the screen going way back. So the Shanghai Exchange 002594 is the number, using numbers there. So it goes back to 2011, and which is when Berkshire had it before that even, and it's up 971%, nearly 1,000%. And we look at on the OTC markets BYDDF, it goes back to 2008, and it's over 1,800%. I think Berkshire bought it somewhere in 2009, so let's say, I'm not exactly sure how much they've made on it, but it's a huge number. It's a multi-bagger for Berkshire at this point. So, possibility that they could be selling, who knows? But Buffett's not one to sell quickly, and certainly Charlie Munger, who's been involved in this, he talks about BYD as being a wonderful company. He has in the past. He also owns Alibaba, Chinese company, so he's keen on China is investing. He works with Li Lu, who helps him invest in China. And interestingly enough, Li Lu, let me just bring up a graph here. What's happened? I don't know if this is true, but if we look at BYD company holding on ticker terminal, we see here, I don't know if this is completely accurate, but Berkshire Hathaway being the biggest shareholder, 20.49% of the company, which is what they said on that news item, and it's worth $7.76 billion, the stake, and BlackRock's number 2 at 2.74, so way down there. And if you are a value investor or follow these so-called super investors, you'll know Li Lu had a big stake also in BYD. I say had because I don't know if he's sold or not. I don't know if this is accurate, but on ticker terminal again, his stake in BYD was here last quarter. Was it the quarter before? But as the biggest position, I think it was around $2 billion position, and he's talked about BYD in the past in interviews, the rare interview that he talks about, that he gives. And now it's gone. It's gone from his holdings. I don't know if that's just something that ticker terminal's done, not showing Chinese shares, but Manish Pabrai's Indian holdings are still on his list there. So it's not just American, and although it's only the American company showing on Himalaya Capital, Lilu's investments, but Micron Technology is now the biggest at 20% of the fund. So I don't. Has he sold? And it's a possibility that also because it's a big block. Is it Lilu or I mean obviously Berkshire had a bigger position. So that's that. Let's have a look at what else. These articles here. So before we go any further, I just want to say this. I want to show this. BYD denied the Warren Buffett exit rumor after its stock tanked 12%. This article says 13 hours ago. BYD, a Chinese electric vehicle maker, saw its stock slumped around 12% on Tuesday after Warren Buffett was speculated to sell his shares in the company. Speculated being the prime word here. This is BYD's biggest drop in almost 2 years. Buffett, the world-famous billionaire, is the CEO and chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, which holds 20.49% stake of BYD in Hong Kong Stock Exchange as of December last year. Earlier today, 20.49% stake entered the Hong Kong's central clearing settlement system. Wow, that is exactly the same. Traders have interpreted, would he sell all at once like that? I guess somebody's doing it for him, but would he go in and sell that much in one go? Traders have interpreted it as a sign for Buffett to soon sell those stakes, since stocks need to enter the system before any transaction. I see, it's not actual sale, it's entering the system. Wow. He wouldn't want that to be made public if he is selling. Maybe he'll change his mind. The high-profile investor has held his stake outside of CCASS for the past 13 years. Buffett initially bought BYD shares in 2008 when they were only worth 8 Hong Kong dollars per share. BYD stock has took off. Okay, this must be a translation here. Taken off dramatically since 2020 and now increased to more than 270 Hong Kong dollars. In April this year, it had reached the height of 314. So obviously it's gone up in tandem with Tesla. If you've been following both of these companies, I don't own this, by the way. I don't own BYD, but by the time I kind of was thinking about it, it had taken off and it always seemed too expensive. Same with Tesla, and so it's just, you can see what happens to stocks when when they do seem too expensive. They can crash 70, 80%, 90%, which is what happened. I'm not saying they'll do that, but they both have been expensive. EV sector in general. I did an audio podcast way back called the EV bubble. Go back and listen to that if you want. See how it rings true. If anything in there rings true, because that was it 2020 that I did that? Late 2020, possibly. Traders are alarmed by the implicit move, even though neither Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway or Citigroup, the custodian for most of the new shares in CCASS, commented on the matter. Okay, so nobody's commented. Let's see. BYD, what have they got to say? BYD has denied the claim. According to the relevant rules of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange and the SFC, the reduction of shareholdings by major shareholders is subject to declaration of interests, BYD told Securities Times, and adds that no information on the equity disclosure platform on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange should suggest stake held by Buffett's firm had changed. However, BYD shares continue to fall after the report. Earlier this month, it was made public that BYD's half-year EV deliveries exceeded estimates and overtook Tesla as the most popular EV maker in the world. Okay, that claim is disputed by Tesla. Tesla shareholders, of course, all over the internet about, on technicalities. According to the company's filings, 641,000 passenger vehicles, buses, and commercial vehicles of BYD had been delivered year to date, with 134,000 EVs delivered in June. Tesla defenders question the data authenticity, as the number includes both BEV, battery electric vehicles, and PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. Some think BYD has skewed the data by including PHEV. I would agree with that. Plug-in hybrid vehicles are not pure EVs, of course. So I would agree with that. All right, Chinese car. Another article from Reuters. Chinese electric car maker company BYD slides on speculation Buffett is reducing his stake. So these are all the various being reported. So BYD's kind of says it's not true based on that it hasn't happened yet by the sound of that. BYD shares sank on Tuesday. Same information developing prompted speculation that Buffett's company might be reducing its multi-billion-dollar stake. A 225 million share BYD stake entered Hong Kong's central clearing system, with Citigroup serving as custodian. Berkshire acquired its stake in 2008. Stake represents 20.49% of the company. It's a big stake in the company. 20% of the company. Often Berkshire will keep its stake to around 10% maximum. Berkshire did not immediately respond for request to comment. Of course it didn't. Citigroup declined to comment. Okay. BYD said it had no information on whether Berkshire was reducing its stake, but the large shareholding must disclose major changes. But that large shareholders must disclose major changes to their holdings. They must, but only after they've sold them. As I understand it, not before they've sold them. Berkshire has said it paid $232 million for its BYD shares. Wow, whose value is now $7.7 billion. That is a good investment. $232 million to $7.7 billion. So if you think of it from a point of view, Buffett's not known to sell shares that have gone up a lot, like Coca-Cola, even when it was in a bubble in the, along with the tech bubble, where Coca-Cola went, and he never sold any then, but he did. He has since said that he regrets that a little bit. So, it could be that point where they've gone up a lot, just like Tesla, and they decided to sell, but selling out completely, it's kind of a big decision. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, basically. I'll just show you some to finish off. If you're still here, if you're still the BYD Buffett nerd, watching this, just a little bit how I saw the news on Twitter. Chinese car maker giant. So this is this guy from Germany, Holger. I can't pronounce that name. I'm not even going to try. It's ZSCHAEPITZ. So it's his Twitter profile. Chinese electric car giant BYD falls as much as 11% on Tuesday after a stake matching the size of Berkshire Hathaway's appeared on the Hong Kong stock clearing system, fueling speculation that Warren Buffett's firm may be adjusting its holdings. Fueling speculation being the words here. It's all speculation. So another one. It says it's from Peter Campbell with the blue tick. Something funny is happening with BYD shares. This is quite a few hours ago. 225 million shares put up for sale by Citi. Stake matches Warren Buffett's holding. BYD says no change in share ownership. Statement given to Hong Kong Stock Exchange. That just doesn't really mean anything. No stake change. It means they don't know about it. But Buffett has said he doesn't disclose until way after, if he can help it, because it does affect the share price, which is what's happened. Why would he do that? He'd rather do it at the end of the quarter. So another one by Sawyer Merritt, who's a big Tesla fan and big Twitter presence for Tesla. News, pro-news, cheerleading type of information, I would like to call it. News: BYD stock recorded the worst day in 20 months on Tuesday after Citibank's increased holding of Chinese EV firm stock sparked market chatter that Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway may have cut its stake. So again, chatter and speculation. So this is the Financial Times. Shares in Chinese electric car maker fell 12% after stake close to the size of Warren Buffett's appeared on the stock exchange. No information here. So the question that strikes me is, what would you do if you were Buffett and this information leaked out and you were planning to sell? Would you still sell, or would you just hold off? 12% is not not a huge amount considering what they've taken, but 12% is 12%. And so yeah, there's more news just saying the same thing around. So much, it's been around the internet. Another article which I won't go through. It's the same information, nothing new. From Bloomberg, Financial Times, Bloomberg, all of them. BYD on Financial Times, Bloomberg shares tumble in speculation over Warren Buffett exit. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. So if you found any of this information of any value to you, please like and subscribe on YouTube and on other podcasting platforms. Follow or subscribe, whatever allows you to do, and join me on Twitter at The Art of Value. Thanks. See you next time.